What's up, gangsters? I want to tell you about a new project I'm working on, but I kind of don't want to tell you about it. I know that doesn't make any sense, but it will in a minute. I'll explain. So, if you have followed much of my nonsense on my YouTube channel, you know that about 8 or 9 years ago, I suffered a spinal injury that initially left me pretty paralyzed from the neck down. I've made a huge recovery, but I'm far from where I want to be. So, I am going to Panama in July for a stem cell treatment. And there's a lot more detail to it than that, and that's what I want to tell you about. But I've tried to kind of keep this channel dedicated to model making stuff. It didn't really initially start out that way, but after 170 plus episodes, it's kind of become that. So, at least right now, I don't want to add a bunch of videos about the stem cell treatment that I'm going to do. And part of that is also because I'm actually running a GoFundMe campaign for it. And I'm doing that for two reasons. One is to obviously help defray the costs, but also because I really want to try and get people invested in this so that they can kind of learn more about stem cell stuff and whether it's good or not, because honestly I don't know if this treatment is going to help me in a more personal way. So I feel like a GoFundMe campaign is a better tool for that, but I would be silly if I didn't use this platform as a way to help sort of spread the word about it and get people involved. So hence the need to tell you about it and yet not tell you about it. So what I'm going to do instead is post all of my updates and conversations about the whole thing on my GoFundMe campaign, which I am going to link to in the description, and which I will now put you over to the clip that I made as the video for the story on the GoFundMe campaign, so you can kind of get all the details. All right? If you're interested, I appreciate you checking it out. Thanks. Hi friends, I'm Will, and I want to welcome you to the great Panamanian stem cell adventure of 2018 and my GoFundMe campaign. So, what's this all about? Those of you that have known me for a while probably already know, but for the rest of you, you may not be aware that in 2009, I suffered a catastrophic spinal cord injury that initially left me paralyzed from the neck down. Now, obviously, I'm not still paralyzed from the neck down. I've made a pretty remarkable recovery over the last, wow, what's it been now? It's 2018, so almost 9 years. It's hard to believe I've been fighting this battle for that long. But through lots of hard work, lots of physical and occupational therapy, lots of good luck, and just plain stubborn refusal to quit, I have made a pretty remarkable recovery. But I would like to walk a lot better. I'd like to walk a lot further. I'd like to do a lot more, and I'd like to hurt a lot less when I'm doing it. So I have been looking at stem cell treatments along the way as the years have gone by, and I've had a pretty skeptical eye about all of these things, because the fact is they are not fully developed. They are not approved in the United States for mainstream treatment, and I just haven't felt until recently like there was one that I wanted to put the money and the effort into trying to have done for myself. But that's all changed, and over the last couple of months I've been going through a lengthy and in-depth application and approval process for a stem cell treatment that takes place, you guessed it, in Panama. For the reasons that I mentioned before. It's just not available in the United States. And this treatment is through a place called the Stem Cell Institute. It's in Panama City, and it's run by a doctor from Dallas named Dr. Neil Reardon. And as this thing goes on, I'll be posting links and more information about the treatment itself and about what they do. But in a nutshell, what happens is they will extract some of my own adult stem cells from the bone marrow in my leg, which is frankly terrifying because large needles and stuff. But they process those and they mix them with umbilical stem cells because those have been found to have a high efficacy in generating healing. And then once they've processed them all, they put them back into you in a couple of different ways. One is through IV solutions that you do as an infusion, and then there are spinal cord injections. Again, much terrify, big needles. But hey, look, it is what it is. It gets even worse though, because the process takes place over the course of 4 weeks. This is not one of those one and done treatments where you go in, they suck the stuff out of you, pump it right back in, and send you on your way 2 hours later and $5,000 poorer. This is a month-long treatment that involves daily infusions and injections as well as physical therapy, and it costs more like $50,000. Hence one reason for the GoFundMe campaign. So, and that's where kind of the two major things with this story come up. One is the cost, which, as I just said, is in total going to be about $50,000. And the other is that this is all a big unknown thing. At least one well-intended person has already asked me if I've done the research on the predatory stem cell clinics, some of which are even in the United States, where they offer things like plant stem cells and stem cell drinks and infusions and pills and things that you can take, and basically quick cures for everything from athlete's foot to aneurysms. And he's not wrong. I mean, there is definitely a quackery aspect to some of these stem cell treatments. But this one, I feel, I don't know, it's just a kind of a gut level thing. I've listened to Dr. Reardon on a lengthy hour-long podcast on the Joe Rogan Experience that I listen to a lot. You know, you might say that this is not sufficient evidence, but I just feel like this is the guy. And at a certain point, you just have to have some faith and go with it. And I've, you know, thought long and hard about this, because the truth is, I don't know if this is going to help me. They have had some pretty dramatic results with some other much more severe spinal cord injuries than I've had. But there is no guarantee or perfect correlation between those results and the stem cell treatment. The fact is, we just don't know. But somebody's got to try it, and that's kind of where I'm at. I've been battling this spinal cord injury for almost 9 years now, and I just kind of feel like, hey, I've got the time, I've got the will to do this, and I feel like that not only could it be potentially good for me, but it could potentially be good for a lot of other people. And so that's a big part of why I'm running this as a GoFundMe campaign to help defray the costs. I could, in truth, pay for this. It wouldn't be easy myself, but I want to make everybody else a part of this, success or failure. And I feel like a GoFundMe campaign is a good way to do that. So here we are. That's my story. I hope that it all makes sense. I hope that if you're watching this, that you feel like this is an adventure that you might want to be a part of, at least in a small way. And then again, even if that's just for moral support, I still appreciate that. But I'm going to make a big deal about this. I'm going to try and post updates as often as possible, including when I get to Panama and as I'm going through the treatment. So I'm going to carry you guys along with me throughout this whole thing, and we'll see together whether this is really a good thing or not. I'm going to crowdsource the whole thing. So again, I appreciate your interest. I appreciate your consideration, and hopefully this will be a good thing for me and for a bunch of other folks. Thank you.